Barak Yahweh Allah. Shalom, righteous family. Welcome back to TRU-TALK. F the streets. What does it mean? What is it about? See, this is where we separate the real from the fake. Because as we know, real recognize real. And you got a lot of pretenders out there. You got a lot of weeds and tares growing up. A lot of times people don't know what's real and who's real. And people can sound real, make it sound real, you know what I'm saying? Sauce it up, spit game. But those who really is real and recognize real is going to understand the language, going to understand what I'm talking about, and going to understand what's real. You know, sometimes what's understood just can't be explained. It's understood. But let me give you a rundown a little bit of who I am. Just a little bit. I'm from Southeast Georgia, a little small town. My daddy was never in my life from the point when I was like, I'm gonna say about five, after five, maybe six. Uh, my daddy was never really in my life. I grew up with a single mama, food stamps, welfare, government cheese. Had holes in my shoes, dirty clothes. Times we didn't have lights and water. We stayed not what I consider the hood, but I think we stayed in the slums, in the gutter. I stayed across from the trap. Well, dope was being sold. My mama actually sold dope. I got family that sold dope. I got family members that was bootleggers. I grew up around what some people say thug, gangster, street niggas, whoremongers. I barely went to school. I made bad grades. My mom herself was in and out of jail. At times we didn't have nowhere to stay. We went days without food. Age of 13, I had ran from the police. I've been had run-ins with the police probably ever since I was 13 when I first started having a run-in with the police. From the time of 13 to 15, I'd have been locked up in juvenile 3 or 4 times. Uh, my last time was I think I was 15. I did like 6 months and some change in the juvenile system. I graduated from going to the juvenile to going to the county. I was in and out of the county, barely escaped prison. I sold drugs. I had people, I got scars on me for certain people attacking me. I have laid in bushes and wanted to take people's life. I never claimed to be anything but who I am. I don't claim to be this and that, the hood is the most gangster or none of that. But I tell you all that because I feel like I got the right to speak on this more than some people because we got a lot of these YouTube channels, these white boys talking about snitching, and they love to call, you know, certain people of our community out and make fun of them and say, "Oh, you're not gangster, you're not this, and you pretending to be this," and they just need to shut up. It's not the life they live and they don't know nothing about it. They just making content. But what can you do? You can't stop geeks from coming on shows and making content because, excuse me, because you got a lot of people that never experienced what I just said, not even half of it, but they are fascinated with the streets and the life, and they think they know what they talking about, and it's entertainment to them. And I gotta admit, when you come from some place that's rough and rugged, there's a badge of honor to say I made it from this or I came from this. And there's a little swag and chip that comes on your shoulder that it don't comes nowhere else but from the struggle, the ghetto, the hood. And yes, the struggle made me who I am. All that I've been through, the things that I've seen made me who I am. So when I personally say F the streets, I'm not saying F the black community. I'm not saying F the struggle and the lessons that I learned. I'm saying F the BS that got a lot of us locked up and killed. A lot of codes and creeds that we live by that was just lies. That instead of teaching us how to be stand up men, it taught us how to be coward. That shoot first and grab your gun instead of fighting it out. Little coward stuff like that that we was taught. That caused a lot of people to lose their life. And other people say, "Well, that's what you were supposed to do," and they don't even know what really supposed to be done. Just like a little quick example, you know, Tupac. I think this is a good example for this. I don't know the story completely, but from what you know, it's been said was this dude beat up some uh, death row people and took their chains. And this same dude that beat up the death row members and took their chains, this crip, this gang banger, when Tupac seen him, the death row crew seen him, they beat him up. They jumped him. You jumped us and took our homeboy chains. So when we see you, oh, that's you. Oh yeah, we gonna get our lick back. Now this man did not go to the hospital. He didn't have no bruises on him. They didn't beat him up till he was half dead. If you see the camera after they beat him up, he stood up. I'm pretty sure he was aching a little bit. But more than anything, his feeling was hurt. Never mind how he was gang banging and how he hurt other people's feelings and how he took the chains from them first and all that. No, it was the selfish act. They did this to me, and I gotta get them back. So what cowards do? They pick up guns, and he shot in the back of a car while it pulled up to Tupac, feet away from Tupac in another car where he was protected, where Tupac couldn't get close to him, and let off shots. And from what we understand or what's been told, that was the demise of Tupac. You had a lot of people in LA glorifying that and said, well, that's what he supposed to do. Well, we live by, you don't get mad, you get even. This is gang banging, this is how it go. If you do me, I'm gonna do you 10 times or worse. That's the street stuff we talking about F. because that's the lamest, most coward's thing you can do. Take a man's life because you got your butt whooped, and then in the manner you do it, hiding behind a car door at a stoplight. Where's the honor in that? Where's the thug in that? Where's the gangster? How that's hard? That's the softest thing anybody can do. And no, I could never respect that. But a lot of people in the streets respect that. This anything goes. You know what I'm saying? Two dudes put their hands up and fighting, and one dude take out a knife and stab the dude, and somebody say, "Well, in the streets, anything goes. You got to be on your cue." And this man dead because he thought he getting a one-on-one fight, and this coward pulled out a knife and stabbed him. And we say, "Oh, that's just the streets. That's how it goes." That's the part when we say "F the streets," because there's a lot of fake things that's go on these streets that ain't real. The streets ain't really built for the real one. The streets is built for fake, for lies, for deception, for sucker niggas stuff. Oh, you'll thrive in the streets if you shady and all you do is want a back door and all that. And this is what they glorify and call gangsters and slime life and all this. It ain't real. Somewhere we blur the line between what's real and what's just wicked. And we think being wicked is being cool, real gangster and street. No, being gangster and, and being from the hood and street was never about being wicked. It was about how you carry yourself. Being a gangster, when somebody said they was a gangster, it didn't mean I gang bang, that I rep a color or a flag. It meant that I'm gonna stand up for myself. That I'm gonna stand up against, I'm gonna have a backbone that it don't matter who it is or what it is. It's like if it's the president or boss or anybody, if they disrespect, I'm gonna stand up for myself. That's what we call gangster. Oh, he gangster. He's not gonna let anybody run over him and talk to him that type of way. In the other sense, it was saying you being a man, you got honor, you having a backbone, and being the thug. Like I always like to bring up that clip when Tupac said, "Yes, I am gonna say I'm a thug, not because I want to steal, kill, and rob, but because I'm from the gutter and I'm still here." Because when you come from the hood, the poorest part of the community, and you dress a certain way, and you just happen to be a black boy, you gonna automatically be labeled as a thug. No matter if you make all A's. Example: Trayvon, a black dude with a hoodie, coming from the score with Skittles. He's a thug. Why? Because he black from the hood with a hoodie on. A video for another day, but that's why I can't respect those quarter zips. Cause it's like, look, we don't want to be mistaken as a thug. We want to. I'm not conforming and changing and trying to seem less threatened to the other race and people, so they can accept me. If you gotta conform and change and be accepted, and they don't respect you or love you, and you ain't gonna never get respect that you should and supposed to. It don't matter if I'm in Nike Tech or whatever I am. If I'm intelligent, if I'm respectable, you treat me as you want to be treated. Judge me by the context of my character. And this whole idea where when two dudes start arguing, and you know how it is, this coward shit where somebody pull out a gun and start shooting, and innocent bullets fly and innocent people die and babies die. It's the streets that say shh, don't say nothing. That's snitching. That's telling. Don't be a snitch. Where people in the streets would be mad at you for taking accountability and say, hey, this dude that opened shots just because he couldn't just fight the dude one on one, or just because him and the dude was arguing. Instead of him handling it like a man, he wouldn't open up shots around black people, our people, showing no love about his community and kill somebody. The streets tell us don't say who did it, so he can live with that. He can uh, do a cowardly move and take somebody's life, but he don't want to go to jail. So we gotta be quiet because we don't want to put another brother under jail or locked up. But it's okay when another brother kill another brother or an innocent brother kill somebody. Like the hypocrite foolishness of it. The whole idea with the same dudes talk about, oh, 50 Cent, they just want to bring another black man down. Why do two black people, why does a black man want to bring another black man down? These the same dudes that's on the internet saying that when they have gangbangers and black people on their couch, they don't say, hey, why you want to kill your brother and bring other black people down? Hypocrites. But once again, the real is gonna recognize the real. Real niggas gonna see this shit and recognize, yeah, this is some real shit. F the streets. Ain't got nothing but some pain from it. And no, the streets did not make us. Life made us. The struggle made us. The Most High made us. Our predicament made us. That don't get credit to the streets. That's just where we come from. That's just a part of life. Like everybody from the hood is not street. That's understood, right? You can be from the hood and not be a gangster, not be street, not be tough or none of that. There's some cowards and lame people that grew up in the hood. There's some people that in the hood that get ran home and bullied every day, but they from the hood. Geeks and nerds come from the hood. The hood is just the low income, the part of the city where people make the less money and there's more crime there. And even though it's filled with Hebrew black people, the demographic of who can be in the hood, it can be anybody. So just because you from the hood don't mean you a street Negro. And just because you a gangbanger don't mean you from the hood. I know some dudes that grew up in the suburbs of Atlanta, but they run with each other and they claim a gang. They're not from the hood, but they still gangbang. LA, there's some part of LA that really it's the suburbs, but there are gangbangers over there. So you don't have to be from the hood to gangbang. And being when it comes to and you can be how you say a thug but not a street nigga. You can be a dope boy but not from the hood. I know some dudes that came to the hood to sell dope, but they stayed on the good side of town. But they want to hang in the streets and want to come to the hood. Different like you can be from the hood but not from the projects. You can be, like of course the projects is the hood, but the hood is not the projects. Being a street nigga meaning 24/7, 7 days in the street. And what comes with that? Really, you ain't got no home. You ain't really got nowhere to lay your head. You from house to house, where the bombs at, and you out there in the streets, running the streets. You can be from the suburbs and you can be a geek, and you can be a street nigga. That's all you do is be in the streets, running from house to house, from this person house to that person, from this hood to that hood in the streets, from this neighborhood to that neighborhood. But it comes down to integrity. I think that the shift is that this is spiritual. The Most High is dealing with His people, and He calling the real ones out. Those that know that, hey, this sin, this wickedness, this is not us. This is not what being real and gangster and a stand up human being is about. Remember when being a man meant something? Like in the hood where we from, it was never propped up to be fake. Like we look down on fake stuff. Like to be fake, to be dishonest, to be deceitful, to do some old slimy. Like these words was not glamified. When we was talking about somebody finesse you, we were talking about somebody played you. How did now it got glamified? Oh, I'm gonna finesse him. I'm gonna finesse him. Finesse somebody mean you doing some effed up stuff. You finessing somebody. That wasn't supposed to be glamorized. How did it be glamorized? The whole idea of not tricking. Now it's over. It ain't tricking if you got it. And these dudes paying these women money to have sex with them, taking them on trips. Like somewhere, somehow, the lame, some dudes that wasn't really brought up in this and taught the right way, or I don't know, maybe from the beginning we knew it was corrupt, but it got even more corrupt. And what we seeing, it ain't the child. This ain't the DNA of who we are. This baby don't look nothing like us. All type of white boys coming here with tattoos, acting like they more streeter than us, getting the N-word pass. A lot of coons, you know, sucking up to these dudes. They speaking on street and hip hop. Like we really lost our identity, and we got to get back to what the hood is, what being real is. So when we say F the streets, we not talking about the lessons. We're not talking about the swag. We're not talking about the slang. We're not talking about the street fights. We're not talking about the honor. We're not talking about the things that made us who we are. If anything, we defending that. Because how you gonna say help the street and save the streets without saying F in the streets? We cannot self and hate it. We cannot save and help the streets if we don't pull out what's not the street and what's poisoning us. It was never cool for somebody to get high off their own supply. Now we got a lot of pill heads, a lot of lean heads. Like Negroes are supposed to be selling pills, not popping them. Now they become now like you know what I'm saying, like on lean and all that, just dope fiends, and then bragging and making song about it, make like that's cool. That's part of the streets to be a pill head, a drug addict, to not be the dealer, but to be the addict. And even though drugs destroyed the community, it was the fact that those that did it because they wanted to feed their family. They did it because they couldn't get a job. A lot of these Negroes are selling drugs because they want a nice car. They want the female. They want to be known as a dope boy. They don't want to. They could get a job, but they don't want to get a job. Being a dope boy sound more better, or they want to buy new shoes and new Jordan. They not getting into the dope game because hey, mama sick, light bills need to be paid, and I'm the only one got to carry this weight, and I can't get a job. That's why back in the days we honor and respect the dope boys because they was feeding the hood. They was helping mama pay her rent and the lady down the street. But this shit got greedy and it was certain shit where they wouldn't even sell to women. Like certain things they wouldn't sell to kids. Now it's sell to any and everybody. This thing was never perfect in the beginning. You already had those that would sell to women's and sell to children. You know, you always had that in the beginning. But that wasn't the majority, and that wasn't the way it was. That was the dudes that was grimy, that was nobody respected them. You know what I'm saying? But now it becomes any way I get it, I sell to your grandma, your cousin, and your mama, and it became something to boast about. That's the part of the streets we saying F. Part of the streets that say you can't be educated. The part of the streets that say you can't be loyal to one woman, one beautiful Hebrew woman. A lot of these street dudes out here that's having babies and don't take care of their kids. Nah, F that. Well, nothing but blood, pain, jail time, and misery. That, oh, because you from this block or you from that corner, you can't come on that side. And none of us own these streets or signs. Yeah, I'm saying F that. And I hate these dudes that come on there talk, y'all should have never jumped off the porch. I love the street. Saying you love the street, man, you know that's the lamest junk you can ever say. That's like saying I love a whorish woman that's going around sleeping with everybody, and you the goofy saying, "Oh, I love her." The streets don't love you. Love your people. Love your community. You really love. Do you love the streets more than you love black people, your community? Because if you talk about you love black people, the community, then you can't love the streets and what comes with the streets. That's wickedness. The streets is not just another word for the world. And we know what the scripture says about the world. The world belongs to the devil. The world is the enemy of the Most High. Everything that's in the world is everything that's in the streets. It's all about lust, pride, peer pressure, wickedness, ungodliness. Nothing that I can be proud of, I can't get behind, I can't respect. I'm ashamed that some of the street stuff I ever did it. I'm truly ashamed. Because I wasn't being real, I was being fake. And nah, just because you not from the hood or you not sold drugs or because you a geek or a nerd or lame, don't mean you better. Because a lot of y'all dudes it's about your character. Y'all still fake too. Just because you never sold drugs or because this whole idea of let's pick on those that come from the street that's hood that done been in gangs and gang bang and sold dope. Let's say y'all scared and y'all lame and y'all this and y'all that. Nah, lame cowardlessness and not being real. It don't matter if you from the hood, the suburbs, if you a geek, if you smart or not smart. That don't determine if you real or not. Like I said before, there's many so-called geeks and nerds that I met that was realer than dudes that was from the hood and the streets. Because the dude that was from the hood and the streets was fake, flexing and lying. And the dude that was a geek was 100. You can trust he was honest. He was being himself. And that's what I respect. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a real one. But see, it's the dudes that are backdoor they best friends. It's the dudes that when they homeboy get locked up, he'll sleep with his supposed to be homeboy baby mama behind his back. It's the ones that'll set a nigga up and get his head. Those the ones that talk about they love the street. Cause they love the fakeness. They love the wildness and the wickedness. And this whole idea that, oh, you wasn't made from the streets, you should never jumped off the porch. Who is the streets made for? None of us, like everybody that's a street nigga, we didn't chose this. Everybody was born into this. None of us chose this. It chose us. It ain't now nigga where it's like when dudes say Tupac lost his life because he wasn't really a street nigga. He wasn't really like that. He was the gangster. But the nigga that killed Tupac, he lost his life too. So he wasn't really like that. Like real, like when you lose your like that's it's so silly because some of the niggas that got 24 bodies under their belts can get take out of here by a crackhead or their girlfriend. And you know what I'm saying? Like, don't like to speak on the dead of people I don't really know, but King Von, he wasn't really about that. He died because he wasn't really a street nigga. Like anybody can get caught slipping, and it don't matter what happened, what you do. Every time you end up on your ass and fall and get locked up, or end up in a grave, everybody talk about what you should and shouldn't have did. Oh man, well, he while he was a street, well, a street nigga wouldn't did this, and every street nigga know about that. Every street nigga done did some effed up junk that got them locked up in the grave. Nah, we not that clever. Ain't no we rocket science out here just making perfect decisions. But see, it's either two things. Those that's not really out there, or those that's young and they trying to really see what it's about. Cause I done been out there that I really wanted to see what it was about and wanted to be labeled a thug, a street nigga, and wanting to claim and all that. But I hadn't experienced all that I needed to experience to understand and realize the BS, the lies. So if it ain't that, then it's these dudes that really don't know nothing about it and they just speaking on it. And most of these people still trying to prove something and live up to the image, and they can't even be themselves. You wonder why a lot of these street dudes that when they start making money, they started doing weird things. You know, like Kevin Gates and Lil Wayne and other rappers. Once they started making real money, they start dressing different. Like, wait a minute, these were street dudes. Why they dressing so funny and different? Cause now they never had a chance to find out who they really was. Now they really exploring. Their whole life they only had to be this person. Now they like, man, well, since I'm not in this vibe, man, I'm seeing the world. Who I'm really in. I know I dress like this my whole life, but maybe I like to dress like this. Maybe I like to do that. So it's sad, but when you see a grown man that's done been through the hood all his life in the hood, nigga, but he finally left the hood. Now he trying to find himself and trying to see who I'm really am. Cause my whole life I had to be this. And yes, we were forced to be that. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not gonna turn my back on it. If I turn my back on it, I won't speak on it or try to pull my people up out of it. And trying to pull my people up out of it, not saying leave the hood or forget the hood. We can learn from not only our mistakes but other people's mistakes. Like saying we can go through the hood and the struggle and go through it a better way. The mistakes that we made, y'all ain't gotta make. You know how many bodies is in the grave? How many young black men's behind jail? We trying to eliminate that. Why would you want to promote that? F the streets. My love for my most high and for my people is greater than these so-called streets. That's a delusion. This whole idea of giving credit to the streets or to this world as if the world made us or these streets made us. Hell no, I never get credit and say the streets made me. I got scars and pain and learned some lesson from the streets, but the streets ain't made me. And this when it becomes an idol. Well, without certain things, we don't have no identity. These dudes that fight so hard to want to claim the streets and hold on to the streets because they identity are tied up in the streets and they not secure with just them being a man in themselves and who they are. It's oh, I'm from this block. These people know me. These people can validate me. I got these ties in the streets. And it's all an illusion. None of that don't mean nothing. If you the biggest gangster in Houston, they don't know you in New York. If you the biggest gangster in New York, they don't know you in Chicago. Vice versa. A lot of times, if you the biggest dude in your city in your hood, the other hood don't even know you. It's a lie, and we gotta wake up from the lie. And we just trying to save all this gold. These Jews are black Hebrew young kings and our queens from this 305 whores junk. From this, you know what I'm saying? Like, put your chest out and be a man and be hood and be gangster and be a thug in a righteous right way. There's a right and a wrong way to do everything. If we want to be street, let's be street the right way. Let's run these streets, running them, being streets as if, man, I ran these streets and played and had a good time. That I went to everybody's house, that we was just out there having fun. Not that I lost my life, that somebody backdoored me. Nah, F that, man. And real recognize real. When we say F the streets, we talking about the BS and the codes and the lies that we was brought up to believe in. And the drama and things that we said we couldn't be because we were street. We couldn't read certain books and had certain dreams and be other than just a rapper or basketball player. F that. We are gods. We not the most high God, but we are gods. Even the scripture says we are gods. Hold your head up, Ken. Act like a guy. We ain't gotta herd on to America, to no street title. Be proud of being a Hebrew. Be proud of being a man. Be proud of who the Most High made you. But as always, let Yah be true and every man a lie. Till next time, Shalom.